Hey everybody, this is my 10-gallon pea puffer tank in my office, and today I got the neons out of quarantine and I put them in a few of the tanks that had some neons but not really a school of them. So the tank looks crowded and busy now, but I've been watching my puffers closely, although at the moment I don't see where they are. It's difficult to see them when I'm looking in the screen rather than looking in the tank. There's one of them, a big fat one. So, since I've got them in there with all these other fish now, they don't seem bothered by the other fish, but they do seem to get preoccupied and curious about them. They follow them around or sort of move out of their way and look at them. And what it's been doing is it's been offering a little bit of protection for my bullied puffer. I was actually considering separating them, but I don't really know what to do with the other one. I don't really have another appropriate tank to put the smaller puffer in, but one is clearly bullied by the other. I fed the tank a little while ago, and that's why this one back there is so round right now. So I've now got 8 neons and 2 female guppies, and then this little Endler's guppy swimming around in there. So I might get babies, you never know, but I'm sure if I did, the neons would make short work of them before too long. So both females, I believe, are already pregnant anyway, or at least one of them is, but I'm pretty sure both females are already pregnant. They're the ones that used to be in my other quarantine tank down the basement. So see there, you can see the puffers just swimming around, checking out the other fish, and now they're sort of next to each other, and see if we don't get a little bit of aggression from the bigger one towards that smaller one. It's strange. Sometimes they swim around together like they're companions, and then other times it's very clearly the big one is bullying the small one. And the size difference is what's so noticeable. The one looks small, like it's being bullied. I've seen fish that have been bullied to death, and they just sort of wither away. They don't put on weight, they don't grow, they don't thrive, and it's just like they don't get enough to eat or something. So I always make sure the smaller one gets something to eat. I see it eating, but it just doesn't seem to grow, and it certainly doesn't get big and fat like the other one does. So not really sure. Hopefully these other neons in the tank here will help just separate them a little bit, give the bully something to do, and it'll leave the smaller one alone. So the real reason we're here looking at the tank is, since I've been in here today, I'm going to get in here and get all of this floating mass of vegetation out of here. It's got that green cyanobacteria growing on it, and I'm just going to gently pull it all out. You can probably get a better look at it once. Well, let's see if I can zoom in. You can see what I'm talking about with the... See how it's created a mat across the surface, and it's a really thick film. Nasty stuff, it really is. I actually watched a video this evening. It was an interesting video, and it was about biofilm. And while it was talking about biofilm in the body, it mentioned biofilm in a lot of different ways, and apparently bacteria that creates a film or a colony like that is 1,000 times more resistant to antibiotics than individual free-living bacteria. So as soon as I heard that, I thought, that's interesting. I'm not exactly sure if that's what's going on here, but that would seem to, I've treated these tanks over and over and over again, and I'll grant you I've never treated with an antibiotic, but this stuff just doesn't get out of them. I don't care how much I treat them. It comes back. It does not get out of these tanks. And so I've made my peace with it. I just don't care. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's not toxic or anything like that. So what we're going to do is try to very gently just sort of reach in here right now and pull this whole floating scummy mat out in one big piece. So that's some pretty gross looking stuff. And now I've got some stuff that I've pulled out of one of my tanks in the basement. This came out of my gourami tank, and the gourami tank has this stuff in it too, so it's not like I'm risking cross-contamination or something. This tank already has it. You can still see plenty of it all over the Java in here, so it's not like I just removed it and now I'm reintroducing it. That's not a concern. And I did pull some stuff right off the top. It was actually growing up and out of the water, so it's got the least amount of that stuff on it as I could get. And it's a couple different kinds. It's the broader leafed, and then it's that weird sort of thin spindly stuff. I took a few cuttings of that, and we'll have to see how it winds up floating in there over the next couple days. And I've even got a couple more pieces right here. So just like that, I've replaced all the floating vegetation in the tank, and I've gone from having that thick, nasty, scummy mat to that. And in a month's time, 6 weeks' time, 2 months' time, I don't know how long it'll be, but it'll be back, I guarantee that. And when it is, you saw how easy it was to deal with. I pulled the clump out and put some stuff in, and we're done. That was it. That was my big tank maintenance, you know. That was the cyanobacteria control. It just doesn't bother me. It's not that big of a deal. It's less of an issue for me than, you know, having a tank that's got algae growing in it. And I don't really worry too much about tanks with algae growing in them. But, you know, some people pull their hair out trying to get algae out of tanks. And to me, just simply pulling that mat of cyanobacteria out and throwing some fresh plants in there is not a big deal. I'm just really not worried about it if I've got to do that once a month or once every 2 months. It's easier for me than putting an air stone in the tank and treating it and doing all this and that and the other thing, and it still comes back anyway. So I've just given up. I don't care. It's no big deal. Anyway, there's my video for tonight. That's again my pea puffer tank, and then don't forget the plants we took out of there came out of my gourami tank down in the basement. So thanks for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.